Well, good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxford, on the show tonight. It's my mucker Port Bear and the one and only, yes, the one and only Bridgeman. Evening, gents.
Evening, mate. How you doing? Hope everybody's well.
Well, can I say big good evening to you guys? Massive good evening to you guys, I should say. And a huge good evening to the guys in the lobby. And to all the Rangers fans that are listening in all over the world. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
How we doing, Port Bear?
Brand new, mate. Aye, very well. Happy after the weekend. Good result for the Teddy Bears. Aye, back to work tomorrow, mate. All good here.
You, Bridgeman?
Excellent, pal. Thank you. Excellent. I hope you're good. You and your family,
Right. Everyone's fine, mate. Everyone's fine.
Excellent.
Can I just squash the rumour now? Elon Musk has not made a bid for Rangers Radio, all right? Just so everybody knows, all right?
Very good. That's quite good, that one. Elon Musk.
All right. If it's all right with you, Port, a view for the bridge.
Right, let's get kicked off, mate. Yep, that's how we start.
Up, and then let's hear the view from the bridge.
View from the bridge. Can't take it anymore. View from the bridge. Can't take it anymore.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a view from the bridge. The Motherwell versus Rangers league game at Fir Park on Saturday, 23rd April 22, SPFL Premier League match. Referee was Nick Walsh. Attendance 8,036. I would imagine with that probably maybe 2/3 of that was Rangers fans because we're like that. Rangers narrowed the gap to the league leaders to 3 points after earning a well-deserved 3-1 victory at Motherwell. Motherwell began the game on the front foot and were pressing well, and it took a few minutes for us to get settled. But when we did, we looked by far a better team. Except when it came to our luck with our tackles. Balogun was red carded in the 27th minute for a high challenge where his left foot was high because it was on top of the ball. This did not seem like a red card tackle to me, a yellow card for sure, and it changed the momentum of it. It changed our momentum. Bassey came on and he replaced Diallo, who was taken off. 2 minutes later, there's a serious challenge on right by Ojaya or something, where he lunged in with both feet off the ground. Yellow card only. I'm baffled, because to me, that was a worse challenge than Balogun's, because he was off the ground. Wonder if the ref actually seen it properly. Both tackles were equally poor, and is this decision a mistake by the ref, or are we being treated differently again? Need VAR, please. Fortunately, we recovered our poise. And despite losing a goal from a good cross, we came through with a victory. The game. On 11 minutes, Sakala picks up a second ball on the inside left position, just inside the Motherwell half, and he sprints upfield towards the box, where he passes Diallo, who cleverly creates a space for himself and gets in a wee shot, in which, unfortunately, is blocked. We had the goalkeeper going the wrong way. Hard lines there, hard lines. For 14 minutes, a Taft corner on our left is taken short to Diallo, who waits for Taft to run past him again, and he slides a lovely ball right in front of him, right into his path. And Tav gets in a great cross over the far post for Goldson, who heads the ball back across the goal mouth, where the keeper attempts to make a save, but somehow palms the ball over the line for a goal to us. 1-0 to Rangers. 1-0 to the famous. Great header by Goldson, a great cross by Tav. I'm a wee bit baffled by that, because I heard on the news today Somebody saying it was actually Wright's goal because he was in among the melee, but I think the goalkeeper got a non-goal for that. Anyway, on 35 minutes, Motherwell are playing well and have a few minutes of pressing high. The ball breaks to Kamara inside our box. He holds on and heads to the byline and is challenged and loses his footing and possession. Possession is lost to the boy Tierney, who scores the ball into Shields, who finds Goss, who turns the ball out left to Carroll, who gets in a great cross, which is met again by Tierney, who heads home. 1 each for the famous. Rangers down to 10 men, playing well and pressing hard. And that's about as much excitement as I could take in the first half. Half-time, Motherwell 1, Rangers 1. Second half begins on 47 minutes. A lovely pass from Kamara on the left half position, finds Sakala, who is just inside the Motherwell half. He turns and sprints for the box, leaving the defenders in his wake. Despite a blatant jersey pull by Slattery, he makes a lovely pass to right, just on the right of him, and on the edge of the box. Who controls and shoots, and the ball goes right through the defender's legs and finds a far corner. Wonderful. 2-1 for the famous. Great goal for Wright. Great play by Sakala. What pace. No yellow card for Slattery for the jersey pull. Shocking referee. In 60 minutes, Slattery brings down Barisic from behind. Free kick and receives a yellow card. No intention to play the ball there. That should have been his second yellow and a red. Fair to say, Motherwell are kicking everything above the grass now. In 61 minutes, a lovely chip down the left by Borna sees Arfield challenge for the high ball. Ball goes to Sakala, who sprints forward, beating two players and into the box, where he's fouled from behind in the box by Mugabe. Definite penalty to Rangers. Yellow card to Mugabe. Tav takes a penalty and sends the keeper the wrong way as he slips the ball into the right corner. 3-1 for the famous. Well played, Tav. Super running. Superb running, by the way, by Sakala. 68 minutes substitution. Joe Aribo replaces Glenn Kamara, and James Sands replaces Scott Arfield. Rangers are in cruise control now. 86 minutes substitution for Rangers. Cedric Itten, welcome back, replaces Scott Wright. Substitution Rangers again for Leon Thompson King, replaces Stephen Davis. And the game went on. Rangers were in full control all the way through to the end. Full time ends. Rangers 3-1. Player by player. Gregor 6, Tavernier 6, Goldson 6, Balogun 4, Barisic 6, Kamara 6, Davis 6, Diallo 4, Harfield 6, Wright 7, Sakala 8. Man of the match, Sakala, followed by Wright. Stats: possession 48% for Motherwell, 52% Rangers. Total shots 8 for Motherwell, 9 for Rangers. Shots on target 2 for Motherwell, 5 for Rangers. Corners 5 for Motherwell, 2 for Rangers. Fouls 13 for Motherwell, 14 for Rangers. This ends the view from a bridge.
View from the bridge. Can't take it anymore. View from the bridge. Can't take it anymore.
Well, thanks for that, Bridge. It was a strange game. What did we take out there? Not a lot, really, Port, apart from Leon Balogun suspended for the Old Firm game. And rubbish, Port.
Aye, we witnessed a very, very average Motherwell side, mate. You know, I'm not going to take any credit for Rangers because we can only play what's in front of us. And when we were on tap and we had 11 men on the park, but look, Cusco could probably win. Oh, sure, that's how poor Motherwell were. But when we went down to 10 men after Balogun's tackle, which I said on Sunday, I agreed with Bridge. I don't think it was a red. I think he's taking the ball and his foot's rolled over the ball. But how do you stop yourself? How do you stop yourself? Your momentum when you're flying into a challenge. You can't. So
that's the problem, mate.
Aye, I know.
That's what makes it a red card.
What, because he's throwing it in uncontrollably?
Aye, you've answered the question there. That's how it's a red card.
Well, I'm trying to defend him, Oxtear. And Maddie, I was allowed that challenge all day long.
Aye,
not even a booking.
all
Not even a booking. Not even a booking for that.
You've come in the tap of the ball, mate. And listen, the point the Bridge made is why was the other one no a red card? That's what I'm struggling to understand. If that's a red card, how's that no a red card? Yeah.
Aye, it's sort of two decisions are so close together, Oxtear. But it's similar to the pools in it as well.
I'll put it to you this way, right? And I'll be trying to be as fair as you look. I don't think there was any need for Leon to make that challenge. I don't think it was a malicious or a dirty challenge. He caught the top of the ball, and that means when his foot went forward, it would hope the ball in the top of the ankle. Unfortunately, in modern football, you give the referee a decision. If it happened to one of your players, what would you be looking for?
I'm going to sit the fence, Ox. If it was a Motherwell player doing it,
all right, okay.
I'm going to be honest.
All right. I hope.
I would never expect a red card for that.
You wouldn't even, in your day, you wouldn't even get spoken to for that.
No, I'm not being funny. It wasn't even a bad tackle. He went in for the ball.
He did go for the ball. He played the ball. He won the ball.
And rolled over the top.
Aye, and because of that, he's no in control. That's the problem.
Yes, I understand that.
Yeah, you've got.
But if you take that alongside the second
the
one,
other tackle, that's a fair argument, Bridge. That's
a worse tackle. He's off the ground.
Down, the view for the Bridge finish. Talk to Paul. Right. There's custard creams on that shelf for you. Open the custard creams for him. Right. All right. Why is the other one where he's scissored, out of control? Why is that no a red card? That gives me problems. Do you find them, Bridge?
Yeah, I think that personally speaking, I didn't think the other tackle was a red card either. But if you match them up against each other, if he's given a red for one, he's going to give a red for the other.
Aye, and that's how I don't see how it's good refereeing, because he's then put himself in the position where how's that no a red card? Scott Airfield Park, yellow card. Scott Airfield, yellow card all day long. He gets caught pulling a boy back. After that, there's about 3 pullbacks. We were one of them for the goal when Sakala, the guys trying to grab him with all sorts. How are they no yellow cards? That's the problem with the refereeing, mate. Yeah?
That's the inconsistency of Scottish refereeing, Oxtear, and, VAR will help. But, like I'm going to say again, and I'm advocating for it on the show the weekend as well, full-time referees are needed in Oxtear. These guys need as much help as they possibly can. It's virtually, it's difficult for these guys, mate, to work all week. We all know how stressful working life can be, and then you put more stress on yourself for going playing or taking part in refereeing a game a weekend. These guys should be full-time Oxtear. I think that's something that really needs looked at. We're constantly going to the same problems with referees.
Don't
even
you full-time improve your decision making?
I think so, Oxtear. I think, and what I mean by that is because it's going to be a sole focus. You'll be able to concentrate on a lot more things. Go and visit. Go and monitor other games that you would never get a chance to do. Travel the length and breadth of Britain to do so. If you want to make yourself the best top referees, Oxtear, then you've got to go and put the hours in and the work in. I think that'll benefit them.
All right, okay, that's
quite sensible. That.
I don't know if I agree with it, because I think your decision making is your decision making. But I say if you're fitter and that's your full sole focus, I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Can I come in and just one wee thing?
Yes.
Those 2 tackles, and we agree they were poor tackles, and no doubt about it, poor tackles. But I don't think there was any trainer had to come on to see anyone. There was both players got up and played on, not a limp, nothing. So they weren't that really bad a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Just looked bad.
Listen, I don't think for a minute Leon Balogun was a dirty tackle. The problem you've got is if his foot would come down and hit the middle of the ball, and he takes it right out and takes the ball out with the ball. Nothing, same, but he's just caught the ball at the tap and he's out of control, and that's the problem. And if it happened to one of your players, I'm afraid, boys, I'd have been looking for a red card.
I don't think you would have got it.
Because you're out of control. But it'll be interesting to see with the referees, mate. We've got Jim, the ref, the taxi driver, and we'll also got Tommy Faye Bogner, who's a referee, aren't we?
That'll be very interesting to hear what they've got
the
to
referees.
that second one, I couldn't believe that second.
Referees used to. I'd have just told you to sit in the dressing room and just middleman.
I just think, seeing the heat of the game as well, Oxford, I think Balogun, Motherwell were thrown it about a wee bit, and I think the reason he's in for that challenge on the half
Don't disagree with that neither, mate.
Which I agree with you, in a sense where he doesn't need to make that challenge in the halfway line. He doesn't. But I don't know if he was just trying to lay one on a player or,
enough's enough. I get that.
Sticking up for himself, you know what I mean, in the team. I sort of maybe I'm trying to cover it from me.
But also, the thing about it is, mate, we were coasting. They weren't in the game. We were 1-0 up, looking as if we could score any time. If I was a coach, I'd be saying to him, why did you give the referee that decision to make it that time of the game? Why?
Aye. And in the position you were at, the halfway line to the touch line, no danger. Yep, I get it, mate. Yep. But I'll tell you who showed the. Definitely.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
But what I will say, Bridge, I thought you were right. The second half, mate, considering the circumstances, we played some decent stuff. Fashion was great, but I thought Sir Stephen Davis put there.
Oh, unbelievable stuff.
Your name's Bridge, man.
Oh, sorry.
Give him 4 today, custard cream, see me shut him up for a minute.
Aye, Stephen Davis, mate. Absolute, I've said it again, Rolls Royce a player. Rolling back the years, showing you how simple a game gets played. Even people that think his legs away, his brain's still light years ahead of probably everybody in that pitch. I'm totally honest. I think he just strolled through the game. Doesn't really get flustered. Just looks like a guy that just walks through. It's almost like walking pace at times. And I know it's not, mate, but he makes it look that simple. Stephen Davis doesn't get himself in any dangerous, positions. Doesn't get caught dwelling on the ball. And he's still got that quick brain, mate, and that sharpness. So that never leaves you. As your body breaks down, mate, that never leaves you, and he'll be fine.
That's fair. I know that. Bridge?
Yes, can I just say one thing before we go in? Because I meant to say at the start.
Thanks very much for the custard cream.
I think that a big thank you to Motherwell for allowing the game to be pulled forward into Saturday, because it gives us a wee chance to get extra preparation and training. So thank you very much, Motherwell. Not that I like them in any way, shape or form, but thank you very much. I thought I was good at them. Now, what was I going to say? Stephen Davis. What a game he had as well. It's just super. Yeah, he's like I wouldn't call him a Rolls Royce because they're big, but his engine's like a Rolls Royce. It's huge. And my goodness gracious, can that guy still play football? Wow. But you'll see sometimes when he's trying to go back the way, he subselves it a wee bit of a fiddle at times, as most defenders do. Don't want to go back towards that goal, it'll kill me. Why? Uh-oh.
What he's certainly done, Bridgeman, is give Giovanni Van Bronckhorst food for thought for the running season. Because as much as John Lundstram and Ryan Jack have got legs and power and love a tackle, Lundstram's also been that shot for the edge of the box now, so we've got danger for the edge of the box. I think it's great to have that experience for the running of the season, definitely.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Port, I've said this a million times. I know we're getting close to the end of the season. I know we're going to be losing a lot of players. And by a lot, I don't know how many there's going to be. But let's say 4 or 5 players are going to leave. I honestly think the club should come to a deal with Stephen Davis. If he feels he could go for another season, sign him on a year's contract. Totally independent contract. He knows what he's going to have to be doing, and the club know as well. And you're not going to be paying him a big star's wage, simple as that. And I think he would go for that, because he's such a good player, very dependable, and he's not going to play every single game for the season, I don't think. So I think a wee deal somewhere along the line would do fine. I don't know what you think of that.
Aye, it's good to have that sort of option, mate. And then where I also think his experience comes into, great applause in the training ground. When our young stars, guys like Charlie McCann who plays in midfield, Lowry who plays in midfield, if these guys, any young up and coming pro at Ibrox, mate, and at Rangers Training Complex, should be plugging into guys like Aaron Ramsey, Stephen Davis, sticking to him like glue and trying to squeeze as much information and watch him train, because they were the proper professionals, mate. The way they, even Defoe when he was there, the way they go about their business in the training ground is valuable to Rangers, in my opinion, Bridgeman. Just and for the fact where youth players can benefit and tap into these guys.
Absolutely. I felt sorry for the wee boy Diallo. I thought he was starting to come onto a game. Could see him picking the ball up and moving it. Look, it's maybe not going too far, but moving it nevertheless. And it looked as if he had a wee bit of style about him. But unfortunately, he had to go off because Balogun did the daft stuff, and got himself red carded. So he had to go and Bassey stepped in, didn't he? He came off the bench and stepped in.
He was unlucky, mate. He was unlucky with that goal attempt that the Motherwell defender cleared off the line. He beat the keeper. Because it's straight on goal.
Didn't know where the ball was. He didn't know where the ball was.
Both of them were very lucky, mate. So, and I have to agree with you. I think he was very unlucky at going off, because I think he looked as if he was going to have a positive game.
But I'll tell you what, it was great to see Wright playing. Wright got a lot of pace, and him and Sakala seemed to hit it off, because both of them are quite fast. So I dare say they can go at a certain level, But I think they two were my star men yesterday, followed by Stephen Davis for sure. And I thought our defenders, nobody done anything wrong other than Balogun, But as far as play is concerned, it was easy for them. So none of them needed to get a 10 out of 10, But they're very good, every one of them.
I think, massive changing point when Balogun went off, mate, we went down to 10 men. And then when you look back, you think, they've had it one each. You think, we know how Motherwell play, mate. They've had good results at Ibrox, especially the last result at Ibrox, and it was 2-2 for a 2-0 lead. And you think, God, is this going one of these days? But I think big credits to go to the gaffer again, mate. Every time this guy is, throwing a curveball, whether it be through injury or, somebody being sent off like we did the other day, I think he's a very reactive manager, mate. I think more reactive than Gerrard, if I'm totally honest, as in to make changes quickly when he sees things only going wrong or things only going right. What I mean by that is, for me, Sakala wasn't too dangerous in the first half, mate, straight through to number 9 through the middle. So what he did was he put Wright alongside him, but he was more central, and basically Sakala then went to the old inside left, old inside right sort of channel and kept running lines. And I thought it was excellent, mate, when Sakala was allowed to move and run at defenders. So again, the manager deserves massive credit for that.
You were seeing Sakala, what Sakala would want to do, I would imagine. Just give me the ball and I'll run at them, and we'll see what happens. And my God, he caused chaos. He caused absolute chaos. And that big fella, the guy that pulled him down the penalty, I don't know how that was a red card. I don't know how it was a red card. Ah, jinx. It wasn't as if it was a wee silly foul or something like that. So, he took his feet away from him before he even get near the ball. To me, it's a penalty and a red card. However, I've got a strange way of looking at things, but I don't like Motherwell as a football team. I think they're a very poor outfit, very poor. But they've done the damage. Sorry.
Sorry, mate. What do you think of Gio? His tactical twitches the other day. How did you find? Did you think he was? What's your opinion on Gio in the match?
Well, I think for the match altogether, I think Gio was excellent. Read everything right. But I think. Tell you what, I was. How keen I was on Steven Gerrard. I thought he was marvellous for our club. However, something's happened and he's gone. And Gio came in. And I thought he would actually be better for his first 5 or 6 weeks. But he wasn't. But you can see now he's building up all the time, and you can see the way he's standing at the sidelines. He's got a smile on his face sometimes, and the way he talks is just wonderful. Listening, just wonderful. So, and just as you said there, he's no fear to change things through a game. A lot of people only give him credit for that, but I would. You can see what he does, and it's instant. That changes. You switch over where you've got Wright and Sakala playing alongside each other. That's like, my God, What a difference that was. Two speedy men running at the defenders. Drive them nuts.
You'll know, mate. You'll know being a defender. One of the anything a defender hates is somebody running directly at them.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God. I was very fortunate in my playing days. I was quite quick. But my big thing, and you probably got a bit of this yourself, I could read the ball. I could read the game, So invariably you're maybe 2 passes ahead of some folk, It's got to come down that way. Okay, sometimes it doesn't, it goes the other way, and you're made to look like an arse, excuse the language. But no, I was a good reader of the game, and I was quite quick. But no, some of these guys that come up against you are like grease lightning,
Yeah.
Fly past you. That's the reason why I used to boot them.
The tweaks that I'd seen, I'd noticed immediately that it made me. It basically went to a narrow midfield three, and even at times we were three at the back as well. And obviously Wright came in off the wing and into an inside right, and closer to Sakala, and it let Tav get down that whole right hand side. Tav was like playing in two positions, mate. So with Tav being so fit and being such a good athlete, he can deliver and defend. Tab, when you've got Tab on that right hand side, mate, it's like it doesn't feel like you're a man down, in my opinion. But I noticed that Arfield then went and sat on Slattery, who was their anchor man in midfield, and Rangers stopped them playing for the back. So I think that was a great thing that Giovanni stopped immediately. Stopped them using wide. Yeah. Aye, he stopped them getting the ball passed out early for the back. So I'm giving the manager, a hell of a lot of credit for the weekend.
Definitely. What I liked, I really enjoyed, and I don't know, some fans of Warner Barisic would probably thank me for this. Seriously, he played maybe a half a dozen chips down the left wing in the second half Saturday. Absolute perfect. Right to the man, just long chip, here you go. And that gives Sakala a chance to go and run. And that's where the penalty came from one of their long chips. Because I think it was Arfield that went up for the ball. When I don't know whether the defender got it or Arfield got it, to tell you the truth. But anyway, the ball went in. Sakala picked up and raced right into the box. He's pulled down.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, lads. Sorry about that. Listen, I think it's important to get these phone lines opened, yeah?
Oh, 100%, mate, yeah.
Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye. So overall, it was a decent performance because it's sort of fallen into insignificance as it's coming in the future, Bridge, yeah?
What do you mean by that?
Thursday. In a week on Thursday.
Oh, this game, absolutely. The two huge games, Two huge games. However, we know that sadly we're going to be a weakened team for Thursday, but we should be okay for the Ibrox game.
We'll see, mate. We'll see. We don't know what injuries were picked up for Thursday, Sunday. You never know, do you?
Yeah, you just don't know. You just don't know, pal.
Port, decent performance. No a great team, no opposition, but the second half performance with 10 men was excellent at times.
Aye, Oxford, absolutely. I was saying to Bridgeman there, I just think the way the gaffer, I enjoy how reactive he is as a manager, mate. And when Balogun gets set off, he's got minutes to get that team set up, get Diallo off, make his changes, and then, you sort of fear for the worst of how the game is going to go then. But with how reactive went, the wee tweak he made with Arfield and Wright and Sakala up front, say to Wright, you get more central, and basically asking Sakala to get to the wings, and then pushing Arfield on Slattery to stop him, getting the ball out short. I think it was a great tactic, mate. It seemed to work because it nullified them passing the ball for the back, and then you'd have, up and down that whole right side. And I think you've touched on this before. Sometimes like two players, isn't he? Because he does such a job up and down that. He's an absolute machine here, man. An athlete. Get up and down that right hand side. So sometimes he doesn't look well done he? 11-man, mate. I wouldn't even know they were. But as I said, I give high praise to the gaffer for his tactical changes again, mate, the weekend.
Yeah. I thought that the three best players were Stephen Davis, followed by Sakala, then Tav, mate. And if Sakala scores that goal, he might get man of the match because he was involved with 3 goals. But the best football player on show, as I said earlier on, Stephen Davis, yeah.
Head and shoulders, mate. Head and shoulders at 37. Absolutely immense.
All right. We've been joined by young GB, who's going to give us a wee view for the bridge, but on a different scale for the women's game. Who you attended? Evening, GB.
Good evening, lads. How you all getting on?
Good, mate. Good, you?
Aye, a weekend full of Glasgow Rangers, mate. You can't knock it.
All right, okay. Well, tell us what your itinerary was for Sunday.
So, mate, decided to take my wee girl along to the women's game and catch a bit of history.
First game at Ibrox?
First women's professional game at Ibrox, mate. And the ladies were met with a crowd of 4,500 bears cheering them on. Ox, a fantastic turnout for them. And Milky Thompson only just making one change to the starting lineup for his previous win against Hibernian. I mean, Ox, I've not really seen a lot of the ladies' games, but a really fast start and an identity that they showed, much mirroring the kind of Steven Gerrard tactics. The first 25 minutes, they totally dominated Aberdeen, and it was only really a matter of time. You had Debbie Van's delivery for the first goal, and Knox. It was, I mean, if you were watching the first team, you would be saying it's a first-class cross, and young Sam Kerr just timed her run perfectly right into the box and slotted that way. Well, I would say smashed that way because she was making sure it was going in the back of the net. And then again, continued to dominate, mate. And up to the 40-minute mark, where it was Nicola Dockery. She put a lovely ball into the keeper, and the Aberdeen keeper kind of spills it. But again, Kayla McCoy was there to just tap it in. Kind of Alan McCoy's poacher's instinct it was. And that kind of took them up to half-time. No any extra minutes needing played or anything like that. Again, dominant first half. Rangers totally in control. And the Bears in full motion. I'll give credit to the Union Bears. That full first half, they made some amount of noise, and I think it helped drive the girls on. And I'll give a shout out to the wee boy who was sitting next to me. He brought his wee Rangers drum with him, and he was battering that loud and proud. So into the second half, again, Rangers started really quick. And that quick that it was 47 minutes that Nicola Dockery got her goal. A fantastic, wicked left foot for just outside the box. Smashed it through the Aberdeen keeper's hands right in the top corner. And again, what a day for Nicola. Scoring at Ibrox, scoring that type of goal, which like Lionel Messi would be happy with. And then obviously she gets the Player of the Year award at the awards night later that night. Again, Rangers just after that, I mean, they're 3-0 up, they're totally cruising. And then at 53 minutes, Kayla McCoy, she latched onto a straight pass for Aberdeen. And basically passed it in for Lizzie Arnott, to bang it away to make it 4-0. And after that, it was really only one-way traffic, Hawks. I think there was a chance near the end that Aberdeen could have got a goal back, but Lassies showed grit and determination. Like I say, an identity at Ibrox. I think playing in that kind of size of crowd yesterday did help them. Totally gave them encouragement. And it was fantastic to see the amount of young Bears witnessing a bit of history, buddy. Another historic moment for myself this season.
Yes, I've had a few firsts this season, mate. Yes. Well, Bridgeman bought a drink. That was a first. And,
do you know, Ox, it's amazing. That's him 5 points clear now, and I think it's only about 3 games to go in the top of the league, and looking as though they can just push on to clinch that championship. And considering where the women's game's been and where Rangers invested yesterday, I thought it was first class. I mean, juveniles was free entry yesterday, Ox. I met an academy employee in the queue, and he was able to bring up some people from down south to watch the game and experience Ibrox for the first time and stuff like that. All these things were it just amalgamated into one great day for everybody. I think it ticked a lot of boxes yesterday. And for me as well, I was able to take my wee girl and experience it. And funny enough, when I first said to her that she was going to the football with Daddy, she was saying, no, I'm not going for it. I'm not going to the football. That's for boys. And I says, well, you're not going to watch the boys, you're going to watch the girls. And her wee head turned, and it was the kind of look to say, how's that even possible? But it just shows you, like, she was encouraged to go and watch the lassies.
How did she enjoy it?
See, when she started figuring out, like, why everybody was flying into challenges and hurting each other, she got right behind actually Nicola Docherty in Sod's Law when Nicola scored her goal. The Wayne was at the toilet, so you can write it, but she was right up there. And like I says, the wee boy next to us at the match, he had these wee drum with him, and he was battling it away like as if he was like part of the Union Bears and stuff like that. And just a lot of, by the way, there's a lot of diehards as well. You don't realise there's obviously people who've been watching the women for even last season into this season. They know every name off by heart. Unfortunately, a lot of time I had to kind of revert back to my programme and stuff like that. But like standard wise, goal wise, a fully entertainment day.
Would you do it again, GB?
100%. See the experience that Jessica took away for that, and the atmosphere. Although it was only 4,500 in Ibrox, you would think that would be quite quiet and derelict a wee bit, but no. And do you know what else, Ox, which was a great touch at the end? See the full team, the full squad came here, the fans. Spent a good bit of time with them, and what it says, Jessica got plenty of photos. The lassies were asking her, like, where did she come from? And I'll give a shout out to Megan Bell, because obviously she's got the same second name as us. She was like talking to Jessica and saying, oh, we must be related and that, and joking and stuff like that. Just a good interaction day, and a whole good experience, I think, for everybody that left there. I've not seen one bad report from it for what I've been reading. So,
and how would you score the football, GB?
Right, standard wise, I think Rangers are going to be very dominant in it. I think you can see the investment that's been made with Rangers in it. Mm-hmm. Aberdeen, I'll be honest, didn't offer very much in the sense of competitiveness. They did a couple of challenges.
Just like the men's team, really, then.
Aye, mate, aye. It was. It's funny enough, I got a bit of reflection, especially when the 4-0 happened and that. But don't get me wrong, the lassies were totally dominant for the start and were hungry for the result. But I think for what I've seen in the league this season, I think it's going to be like a 3-horse race most season, unless other teams invest in their squads, because you can see that Rangers women definitely technical ability was right up there. Like I says, if he's got a chance to watch Nicola Docherty's goal, I mean, Tav would even be happy with that kind of goal. And like I says, a lot of desire for the likes of Lindsay Arendt getting her goal. And like I says, the player of the match was Demi Vance. So again, she was getting that for basically the hard work rate. By the way, see the centre midfield. The centre midfield was Kirsten Riley, and didn't panic. Again, I don't know if they get the chance to see the first team Ox or anything like that, but especially the lassie Kirsten Riley, she was able to take the ball and never panicked with players running about her and stuff like that. Was able to take the ball and pass it. It wasn't getting like humped up the field or anything like that. It was on ball on the deck and finding a player and moving up and stuff like that, and transition and stuff. So you can see that there's that Malky Thompson's trying to build something in that, even in his interview.
Thanks for that, mate. Thanks for that. Any short time I've seen them, and I don't see all the games, but I've seen a good few of games. She is the one that makes them tick. Kirsten Miller, maybe their most consistent player. Maybe not their best player, but maybe their most consistent player. Port, when we started speaking to the girls, that would have been over 18 months ago. They all said they had a dream to play at Ibrox. Well, that's another tick in the box for them, eh?
Aye, they're going from strength to strength, talks here. But it sounds like what Gary's saying, that, you know, Malty Thompson's taking on board Gio's philosophy and he's going to implement that in our ladies team. And like you said as well, with the investments into our ladies team, mate, you know, and now they're challenging at the very top, 5 points clear about going on to this title. You know, fair play to them all, mate. Last year have done really, really well this season. That league's been dominated by one team for a number of years under Scott Booth, you know, and for Malty Thompson going to do this when he's got a proper full squad of females that can compete next year. Fair play to them and good luck to the rest of the season.
Yeah. I think they're heading towards a league title. Looks that way, Bridgeman, and fair play to them, eh? Part of the club.
Absolutely, yeah. I've never seen them, so, but really and truly, based on the descriptions I've been given tonight, very good for them. Very, very good for them. Nice. And by the way, a league title, wouldn't that go down well? Fantastic. Go for it.
Yeah. All right. And just, I think I asked you this, GB, but I'll come back in and ask you again. Did the wee say she'd go back again?
She did, Ox, especially when she's getting Mars bars and treats out the shop. I couldn't get her away from the Rangers shop either. She's wanting things left, right and centre. So she's got to make me bankrupt if I keep going. So maybe kind of pace it out and pick the kind of bigger games. Especially, I think there's Glasgow City coming up and then Celtic at the end of the season. So again, if he's not doing much and you're getting juveniles in for nothing, then I think that's brilliant on the club. I mean, it's still a cost there. You've still got to put security on, stewards on and stuff like that, and they're allowing young bears in AC Ibrox for free, which is amazing.
I think that's a good thing, Port, to use it. I'm not saying they'll use it every week. Obviously, this time of the year, the pitches are a wee bit different, but it's difficult for some families to get the chance to go to Ibrox, and financial costs, maybe work commitments, or just maybe the boy plays football or whatever, so they've got to make choices. And if something like that comes up the odd time, everybody's got to go to their first game. It doesn't matter if it's a woman's game, a man's game, or whatever. You've got to go and experience it for the first time sometime, mate, yeah?
Aye, mate, you're bang on. I think, you know, as you say, you're touching on there, not many people can afford it. So to take their family. If your family consists of, you know, a mum, dad and 3 wains, that's a lot of money in a match day. So it's great the Rangers are rolling out the red carpet for the young bears, because after all, they're the future of the club. So if you're taking on your 2 boys who, you know, for talking sake, get the bug and really enjoy following Rangers, that's the future. So it's a good idea to, you know, to let the kids and the young lassies to get into the pitch and you know, get the experience and see how they're going to take it forward. I think I'll join Gary next game. I'll take wee Meyer up with me. The next one he's going, but definitely, mate, I think they're the future. They're the future. So I think it's very wise that the Rangers are letting the young bears in for nothing.
Do you get a game?
Me, I would not know, mate. No, I'm finished.
Then it would be the Union Berets.
Aye, indeed. Maybe Meyer and GB's daughter can start them.
Mm-hmm. All right. We've been joined by both Star. Evening, BS.
Evening, Ox. Evening, Port. Evening, JB. Evening, Bridge.
All right, mate.
Ox, just on a bit. I was just on to say, I've got to be honest, I said to you a couple of times last week, I can't get too enthused with the rest of the league campaign. For me, it's not been defeatist. For me, when it's known by Rain Horns, it's a bit much to ask. But what I would say is, I said to you a couple of times last week, I know Port didn't agree with me at all when I said I would like to have seen him dropping Lindstrom, Kent and Aribo. Not that I thought he would do it. I thought he might have dropped 1 or 2. The rest of the panel seem to think, oh no, he's still got to push on for the league. He can't drop these guys. Well, our manager proved us all wrong, because he did. And I'll tell you something else. If we come back with a 1 goal deficit and we're still in that tie for Ibrox, I'm telling you now, he'll do the exact same thing again against Celtic. In fact, you might even find there'll be more first-teamers, as we would call them, dropped. Do you agree?
Oh, I was speaking to a wise man about that today. Interesting. Be interesting. I wonder what kind of reaction it would be to the support if we lost the league, potentially lost the league there. But I get where you're coming for the rationale about it, but I've no... Bridgman.
Well, let's put it this way. But your own admission, you agreed with me to the extent, for you, the league's more or less over, providing we still had to put a team on the park to try and win the game. The guy done that, and let's be honest, it's not taking anything away from our own team. They weren't up against much, but you can only play for what's in front of you. I get that. But at the same time, for him to drop Lundstrom, Kent, Aribo, certainly he had more than capable replacements to bring in. Sakala and Wright ran the game, followed by Davis. If we're still in that tie, and let's pray and hope that we are. I do honestly think we will be, but they're a good side that we're up against Leipzig. If we can keep that so that we bring that back to Ibrox, it would be the most foolish manager ever in our history if he puts out what we classify as near enough his preferred team that he would be playing against Leipzig at Ibrox. It ain't going to happen, mate, nor should it. And I get the rationale about you don't want them to win the league against us, but the law of averages, he put out a team against Motherwell. They're on our books. They players, whether we think they're first teamers or no, which they're no, that's the squad. That's why you have a squad. If we're in that tie, everything concentrates on Thursday's game, and it's all about the return leg.
I think the big decision, if you look at the back four, there's potential that back four could have played at any time, Portbear. And then midfield, you had Kamara, Stephen Davis, and obviously Scotty Arfield. And they've played a lot of games over the piece. And maybe no our first choice at the moment, Port. Up front, we were really short. I think we all thought Sakala would play. I'll be honest, if I thought just going with consistency that Kent would have played normally, I thought he would have been in the team. And then we were struggling for A and another. And he shocked us with Dalio and Wright playing. And all of a sudden, we made a couple of changes, but most of the players are first teamers, Port, whether we like it or no. There was no young, rational young boys on there that came out, appeared from nowhere.
No, I get that. I was surprised. Like I said to you the other day, I was totally surprised about the changes they made. I didn't see us doing it because, like I said to Blue Star as well, I don't think the league's over. I really don't. I know there's some people say it, and some corners will say it is, but I just think it's as simple as if we go and get a result, any sort of result, good, decent result on Thursday, and we get a good result against them, a win at Parkhead, I just think the whole league's flipped in its head. I just think they panic. It's a new side put together, and I just don't think they'll get the bottle to get it over the line. I think Rangers will go on and
it's the fixtures, Port.
I get that. You know? I get that, mate. But what the team showed against Motherwell, mate, we can lie. It was my problem with consistency. And these guys to show up and show the same sort of consistent levels that John Lundstrom, Ryan Jack, Ryan Kent have all shown pretty much all season. That was my doubt last year. But having watched how we played with all them guys, I was pleasantly surprised, mate. So, I think we can use a squad like Blue Star's touching on.
Can I just come in on that?
Yeah, of course, Pritchard, you come.
I think that our manager, up to now, his selections have been tremendous. I don't doubt for a minute he's going to put out the best team he can against Leipzig. But like Blue Star says a minute ago, and we all think it, we all hope it comes back with any result that makes us a sensible chance of us getting there if we play better and score a couple of goals or something. Then it's in. But that I don't even not interested in the Celtic game at all. I'm not remotely interested in the Celtic game. It's a huge game. Again, I'll say it. This is the biggest game of our season coming up on Thursday.
Correct.
And I want all the players to be doing everything they can to get us a result back to Ibrox. And I don't care if we go and we beat them at Parkhead. And right at this moment in time, I don't care what happens then. I will, of course, come to Sunday. I'll think differently then. But right now, no. Just Thursday night is all I'm interested in. Thursday night.
I'll be interested to see how it pans out. All right, thanks for that, Blue Star. GB, you still with us?
Still here, Ox, aye.
Aye. Just quickly get your thoughts on the team selection on Saturday. Did it surprise you?
Aye, Ox, it did, especially Scott Wright. Unfortunately, I've been one of the guys banging the drum that said that he shouldn't be in a Rangers shirt.
Was it a surprise when you think about it, considering he played about 70 minutes a week? Well, no, he never played about 100 minutes the week before.
I know. It's like you would think, because he's not been a mainstay, Ox, that he would
Who would you have played, mate?
Well,
on the spot, yeah, but who would you have played?
Well, you would think he would have just went and try and tested. It would have been like Karibo in for him, or Kent at least would have been on the park, and maybe Sakala on the other side. But I mean, again, Gio's had a thing about Scott Wright. He's always gave him a chance, and don't get me wrong, like overall in the cup semi-final, Scott Wright worked hard. He defended well and stuff like that. I just criticise him too much on the going forward side of his game, and then Sod's Law won the Motherwell game. He went up the park and realised that he got the first goal in my eyes. And obviously he banged away the second goal. And again, it's just maybe a wee bit of belief with Scott Wright. If he just gets maybe just be the same as he needs runs of games like Roof, because Roof seems to get a good run of games, gets himself back in form, and then bang, something happens that he ends up injured or something like that. Or Scott Wright's the same, gets a run of games, gets there, and then the next minute it just withers away again.
I think he's been dropped for form rather than fitness. I don't know what you think, Port.
I just think it's form and ability. And sometimes I get where Gary's coming from. I did question his ability, and I probably still do, if I'm really, really honest. Whether he's going to be a long term, in Gio's plans, mate, I still have my doubts. I really have, because Gio, like Gary's touched on, mate, Gio's given him a number of chances, and most of the time he's not, took his chances. Although in the last, European games and obviously during the weekend, he's finally seemed to have shown up last year. But that's happened with John Lundstrom as well. So I don't know if these players are just taking time to settle into, being a Rangers player, and then also settling into, coming out of Gerrard's style of football philosophies, and then slipping into Gio's. Maybe the Gio system and style is going to suit Scott Wright better, like it does for Lundstrom, mate.
Aye, listen, I'm a great believer sometimes. Both stars left us. I'm a great believer that sometimes you need a bit of luck, mate, to get in the team, and then something happens for you. You get a goal when you stay in the team, and if you'd have shot the ball by the post, you might have been dropped the next game. But football's strange, Bridger.
It certainly is. Certainly the way I look at it as well. But I think, see yesterday, Oxford, I'm watching that yesterday, and even with 10 men, I'm not being funny, even with the 10 men, if we had scored 5 or 6 yesterday, we would not have been embarrassed. Seriously. That's how good we were in the second half. We were absolutely tremendous. For having only 10 men, we outran them, outthought them, outplayed them. Absolutely brilliant. I loved it. I just loved the second half. Sorry, that was the answer.
No. I was. We had a mental 5 minutes, Port, didn't we? When we lost the sending out, we lost the goal, and you think, this is going to go Pete Tong, but it never.
No, it didn't, mate. It didn't. And this is what I'm touching on. I think a lot is, first few weeks under Gio, we were thinking this looks good, and then he was making some decisions that we all questioned on this show, and even pundits on all platforms were, questioning where Gio might see his tenure. I know GB was pretty vocal on Gio's some of his decision making, but what we've got to admit, mate, since the Dortmund game, I think Gio's managed to get everybody, and probably including the playing staff, on side, because I think they've looked at some of his philosophy. I've looked at his style of football, and one thing I'm going to say about him, mate, see his reactive decisions in management, i.e., what I think a manager gets paid for. If things don't go right on the pitch, or like sending off, or like our forward line being ravaged with injury, no excuses, Oxford. We've still got a squad there, but I think we have to enjoy Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, because certainly since the Dortmund game, mate, he seems to have getting more right than wrong, and I think that's maybe to do with him adapting to the Scottish game and European game as well. But I think his understanding of the Scottish game is improving week by week.
Listen, mate, it's so close to being just an absolute dream season. Obviously, we're always based on the league, and we've dropped some solid points. We know that. But hopefully we can get results in the couple of Thursdays, and it can drive us on to a historical season, GB.
It would be amazing, Ox. The last is the first time round getting to the final. Fortunately, I was sitting in my apprenticeship and never got anywhere near getting to Manchester.
I just entered as an apprentice. And
Did you?
Did you, aye?
Right.
Better say it.
He was a very late starter then.
I'm a pure apprentice. They call me Victor Bridge. My mate was Jack. Oh dear. Bridge, man, you're obviously, you go back. I was going to ask you Romans football, because I believe it was big during the First World War, but I didn't want to. But I reckon in your time we played in your whole life we played in five, and I'm including the 93 season when the sort of Marseille debacle as a semi-final. I think that's it, mate. We played in 5 semi-finals of European trophies. That's it.
Yeah, sometimes the ones where you think it was a semi-final, but it wasn't. If you follow,
right? Obviously, you've got the year we get beaten in the final by Fiorentina.
Yeah, that game.
The Borussia Bayern Munich won in '67 in the semi-final. Then the Newcastle First Cup. Am I right? I've not checked this. This is fake.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
That was the semi-final, wasn't it?
Yeah. Right.
And then obviously we had Bayern Munich in '72, and then you actually jump for '72. If you accept that '93 is a semi-final, if you don't, you jump to 2008. That's it, Portmere.
Incredible, mate. Incredible. But and probably mainly GB sort of terms, but I think the last 20, 30 years, I don't put any blame on our club, mate. I really don't. And why I'm saying that is because you all know my thoughts in here regarding European tournaments. I think it's an elitist tournament that the rich get richer, and the mediocre teams, such as the mid-level teams, don't get a chance to get to these quarters and semis and finals, mate, because the budget difference, the money difference in these teams is incredible, mate. It's the Champions League should have been called. I've always said that. You know my thoughts on this. I just think if you want Rangers to be more consistent, or the team across the road, or Aberdeen, Hearts, whatever, I think UEFA have to split the money up better than the day last year. I think the fact they get 4 English teams, 4 Spanish teams, 4 German teams, who most of them just qualify straight in and things like that last year. Whereas sometimes in our league, especially depending on where the league finishes this year, Rangers, if they win the league or them across the road, can still have to qualify. I think the championship goes straight in, mate. That's just my opinion. I just think it's incredible. Mate. It's incredible, mate. I just think we need to sort that tournament out to be better. To give Rangers, it's to give Rangers. Let's watch Rangers, mate. It's to give all the teams that win the leagues a fair chance in these big tournaments, because you might see Rangers in more quarters and semis if the money was evened up better next year.
Money's not always the. I mean, if you think back between I'll say between 87 and 97, Bridge, we were paying some top dollar, and apart from the 92, 93 season, we never came close. Quarter final against Bucharest. That was it, mate.
Yeah.
Never came close.
Yeah, I think our concentrations were different at that time. I think that you build a club, build a team, And you look what happened in the 60s, 50s, late 50s and 60s with Rangers. Rangers were brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And then you got the phenomenon of what happened to them across the side. They come in 66, 67, and they stormed Dublin for 9 years. They stormed Dublin. So these things happened, and we were second most of those years in the league, and we still won cups and things like that. So it's really, really, really great to see what happens in Scottish football. There's got to be money put in here. Just as you guys are saying, there's got to be money put in here.
Go to organise it for a start, mate. Who's going to put money in if it's not organised, mate? Yeah?
Yeah, it's got to be changed, and it's got to be changed for the better. Because those days have gone when Rangers and Celtic were independent, but there was this little, shall we say, a little fog between the two where they were actually doing business. The clubs were doing business and giving the idea that they weren't,
All right.
They don't like
All right.
each other.
Thanks for that, Bridge. If you don't mind, get yourself a mute, because we're going to have a tune.
See them marching on through the years of history. It's held on high. How far the jersey they will do or die. Oh, fight, fight for right. Play the game with a badge of glory. We'll lose or draw. Well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you, loyal and true. On the way to cheer the boys in blue, oh, follow they will, marching on through the songs of glory. We'll lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. The Glasgow Rangers, have you seen the boys in blue? Well, they're admired by all who know them. If you knew them, so would you. For they have played in Monaco, they have played in the USA. But the greatest game in history is the game on New Year's Day, for it's the home of famous heroes, and their praises they have been sung. Willie Waddle, Tory Gaelic, Alan Morton and George Young. And when all my life has ended, and when death has made its mark, will you scatter all my ashes on the slope of Ibrox Park? And what the angels I'll be singing up in heaven, they're up above. I'll be singing, follow, follow, to the Rangers that I love. And what's my flute I will be playing in the valleys and the glens. I'll be happy and contented when the Rangers win again. See them march on, marching on through the years of history. Its head on high, up for the jersey they would do or die. Fight, fight for right, play the game with a badge of glory. We'll lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you, loyal and true. On the wing to cheer the boys in blue. Oh, follow they will, marching on to the songs of glory. Win, lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. Win, lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Nice wee ditty, that one. Nice wee ditty. Right, unless anybody comes on.
Draw. Oh, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. I love that, by the way.
Right,
Sorry,
that one.
pal.
No, do you like that one?
I like them all. I like all the Rangers fans. Rangers songs, all of them. I actually must admit, I do like the you call it Build My Gallows. I think that's an amazing song. Absolutely brilliant. An amazing song. I noticed it's getting sung a lot more at Ibrox than before. I love it.
That gets the blood pumping, Brudge.
Oh my goodness, people love it. People they're standing up to that. Ibrox. When they start singing it, we're standing up. Here we go. I love it.
Oh, it's a catchy tune. Right, okay, right. Can we part the Motherwell game unless somebody comes over?
Aye.
Oh, yes, please.
Right, we part.
Game over.
What game was that? What game were you talking about?
Unfortunately, we'll part the women's game. Unless any callers want to come on and discuss it, and they're all welcome to do it.
So can I just say one thing before you move on and see it was strange? See, when we were leaving Ibrox, see, we were walking past the Rangers dressing room, the window bit, you could hear the music blasting it, and it was Oh Heavens, A Place on Earth was getting blasted out. That was quite surreal. hearing girl music getting blasted out in the Rangers men's changing room was an eye opener.
All right, okay. All right. Did you go in and give him a wee dance?
No. I marched myself to the car, mate.
Right.
I was going to say it because I was wondering why he was standing there in the first place.
To be fair, mate, I've seen him dance.
2 left feet.
Right, okay, where are we? Right, so we can part everything. It's just semi-final. That's all that matters. And did Gio get it right on Saturday? Obviously he did. Bridge.
By a long way he got it right. By a long way.
And we sort of questioned him before. We were in Shockport when the team came out.
Aye, yep. I was quite vocal about it. I was very surprised by how many changes, mate. But he got it right. He got it bang on. And then, as I said, when Balogun gets set off, he reacts on the touchline, mate. And that, for me, is when a manager earns his coin. How he reacts to, tactically, and the sending off, which is immense, mate. Superb. I would say that's a trait he's got that our previous regime didn't have. Too stubborn in that 4-3-3, mate.
Aye, I get that. Right, here's a question for the three. Simple yes and no's, but you can elaborate, and I'll start with young GB, and then I'll work my way up to the Bridge. Right, okay. So GB, would we go this far in Europe under Stevie G?
No, the way it was going.
No. Okay, all right. Port.
I think, no, mate, and my reason is, I think that the new management team and a fresh voice in the dressing room has been the trigger to get these boys going again.
Why have they lost a 6-point lead in the league then?
That's good, yeah. That's good.
No. It's just a new manager, mate. He's just come in. As I said, did a great start. He's lost his 6-point swing, which was horrible. And he did make some mistakes in losing them 6 points. So I get what you're saying, mate, definitely. But I still think it was time for a change, mate. I think it was getting a wee bit stale in the dressing room.
Okay, all right, fair enough. That's a point of view. Bridgman, what do I go as this far?
I believe he would have. Because it's taken us out of the group stages in the previous season, and I thought it was a smashing manager, particularly in Europe. And I don't know whether he was carrying a lot of luck, but I think his team played well. And actually, Gio has taken us a bit better, simply because he got us through even further, where areas were only dreamt about. And I thought that I really felt that Steven Gerrard would get us there. I'm not saying whether he would have got us to the final, but if there's a one man that can get us to the final, it's Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. He's got the experience. He's been there and done it with some top teams. He's played at all levels of football that even Steven Gerrard could only dream about, seriously, in the European area, amazing. So I think he could have done, but I'm not trying to take anything away from Gio. What Gio's done
No, it's hypothetical, of course, Bridge.
Yeah.
Will be a Sherlock's year.
No. I think at that time when the manager left, I don't know if they'd go to the group stages, if I'm being really honest, but...
That's fair, yep. I agree.
There was something amiss, bizarrely. I don't know, I can't put my finger on it. There was something amiss.
It could be simple, mate, as they need a new voice. Sometimes that has to happen in a dressing room, mate. You can switch after a manager and a coaching style. And one thing I did always say in the shows, if you remember back, I always said that he could end up falling his own sword, Gerrard, mate. And what I meant by that was being so stubborn with that 4-3-3 and not having a plan B, and was he going wrong? You've alluded to it sometimes, the Mark Warburton plan A, if plan A doesn't work, try plan A better. I just think if he was going to end up falling his own sword, mate, and before they went out in worse terms.
GB?
Ox, do you know something? It's a good question, and I think if Gerrard stayed, we would have been probably out of Europe, and I think he might have grinded us in wins in the league, and we probably would have won the league. I think he would have got us there just because we would have probably ended up. I don't even think the cups would have ended up getting sacrificed again as well. But I think he would have grinded out another title win for us.
All right, okay. Apart from the league this year, we went further this season in everything, bizarrely.
He's also got a better record, Ox, over the 33 games. I put it in the call earlier on if you wanted to do it.
Aye, that was nice and neat and tidy, that thing you put in the... You seen it?
Aye.
I think the wee boy was batting the drum, was doing it with his cranes yesterday.
I thought it was Tetris.
Because you've got all these features on your stuff, you don't need to use it, mate. You know what I mean? You've seen the mess of it, Bridge.
I'm just looking at it now. It does look like Tetris, Gary. It's ridiculous.
Tetris? He needs a Tetris. Right, okay. Forget this, Rag. Please humour me. Right, okay. He's compared GB, you'll read that, it's very easy to understand. He's compared GB Gerrard and GVB after 33 games. Stevie G had won 16, drew 11 and lost 6, scoring 62 goals and scoring 27. Giovanni, after 33, he's won 23, drew 6, won 23, 6 drew and 4 lost, scoring 69 and 25. You could argue that the stats are better, but I'll argue that Stevie G's start for the low base was better than Giovanni's. GB, then Bridge.
I think, especially going into the start of this season, I think we had a team. Although we had a couple of losses, Ox, I think we had a team there that knew how to grind out a result, if you mean. Whereas I think Giovanni, especially the Ross County game, that just proved to me he still wasn't up to speed with the league yet. Whereas Europe, I think, that's his most of their coaches and stuff like that. I think
was that Giovanni's fault, or was it the fact that Al McGregor threw in nearly 3 goals? Was that in the day with the coach?
Maybe a bit of that, to be fair to him. But I think, especially like say the Motherwell game, and what was the other one? It was, I mean, Aberdeen was close as well. We ended up in the Hibs game. The Hibs ended up, it was a Tavernier penalty that won us that game.
All right, I'm going to cut across you, gentlemen. We've been joined by Juicy Bear, who wants. I'm going to send him a copy of that. Everybody want to see that. Juicy, evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
How are we doing, mate? What's on your mind?
Just enjoying the conversation tonight. Thought I'd get some of the action when we moved on to the European scene. I think what you were just saying about Stevie, I think I'm pretty much in agreement with you all. We'd kind of dried up a bit, hadn't we, by the time he left, when you consider we'd drawn 3 home games in the league. We'd lost to Malmo, which I think was a big part of the reason why he left, as I've said before. I don't think we'd have necessarily gone any further in Europe. And I think he kind of just felt like he'd probably seen enough of the Europa League with us, and he'd done that for 3 seasons, and he got his opportunity to leave. Fine.
If he doesn't watch, he'll be in the Championship next season.
Well, yeah, I think there's probably worse teams in the Premier League this season, but
yeah, there is. But
yeah, it's terrible. I think like a number of teams in a lot of leagues, their season's pretty dead now, isn't there? And they're really going to have to pick up next season. Otherwise, you're right. In a year's time, they could be in the Championship, and that's a fall from grace. I don't care how much money he's getting paid, and how more lucrative a league it is. He's not going to be seeing European football with Aston Villa for a long time if that's the case. Again, not that I wish him, anything bad. It was the right time for him to probably leave us, although it probably wasn't great for us as a club. I think that's one thing we've got to remember, guys. We lost a manager and then the whole management team a quarter of the way through this season. And that's difficult for any club to recover from. So when you look at how well we've still done, okay, Gio has dropped some points in the league, but we're still in tournaments. We've still got a big opportunity to win a lot of things this season. So we talk about them being transitional across the city. Well, at least he had a whole pre-season with his team. Gio hasn't had that. Gio's had to hit the ground running.
He's also spent over £20 million and had nearly £20 million in loan players brought in.
Exactly.
People forget that, and if they think they're a good side for all that money spent, and this guy's a messiah, jeez, who's kidding who?
Exactly, guys, and that loan signings, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and all right, credit's where it's due when a loan signing does pay off. But we've been hit and miss with loan signings in the past, haven't we? And they don't always work out. Sometimes they do. Kent worked out, and we bought him, and that worked out great. But every single season, as I've always said, it's only ever going to be us or Celtic for the league. Europe doesn't come around that often in terms of getting to those latter stages. So I think you'd always take that over one season of not getting the league if the league's not going to happen for you. And obviously you'd want to win both. But
60 years, 5 semi-finals, mate.
Yes, and fantastic. And here's another stat, gentlemen. You think we were out of the league, the top league for 5 seasons, right? So 2008, we were in the UEFA Cup final. If you discount those 5 seasons, including the season that we were promoted, where we weren't able to be in Europe that season, you have to discount those 5 seasons. So actually, only within 9 years between that final and this semi-final. So in that time, other clubs in Scotland have been absolutely mints in Europe. We've come from the bottom back to the top, and we're in a semi-final in only a 9-season period from when we've been able to compete in Europe. So, forget about the 14 years, because 5 of those years we've not been able to play in it, guys.
All right. Aye, good shout, mate. Good shout. I think there's another team in our city that's, I think they've won 1 knockout tie since 2003. There's a stat for you, Port. 1 knockout tie.
Aye, incredible, mate. And their Messiah Rodgers was hailed to bring in and revamp their European success. Didn't do it, mate. Didn't do it. With big
cheers.
Budgets.
We've been joined by Blue Horizon. Evening, Blue.
Hey, guys.
How you doing, mate? What's on your mind?
I'm sorry to take you backwards, but it was about the game against Motherwell.
That's
just a quick question. How can it's taken up you guys right to have such a good game for us after all the bad performances we saw from him? Yeah, against Motherwell, he was on fire.
Oh, that's a good question, Bridgman.
Yeah, I think it's the position he was playing in, to be honest, and the way the team were playing. And you could see him picking the ball up and running. He's still quite frail compared to some of the giants he was playing against, because some of these big fellas will just batter you, So, but it's a great guile in the game, and he's really, really good. I think he's a smashing wee player. I'm not saying he's the best player in the whole world by any stretch of the imagination, but I think he'll be. I think his contract's up with this season. I'm not dead sure. But I think if he was...
He was only just raised last season.
No, I can't remember, so please forgive me. But what I was going to say was, no matter what, I think they would have signed him anyway, because he's really come on to a bit of guile in his game. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. I thought he had a great partnership with Sakala. Absolutely superb. No problems for him. No problems.
Mine seemed to force a wee understanding. Also noticed that he never really defended as much as anybody else in that park. He kind of covered every blade of grass. And it takes me on to thinking, I know I said only that one thing to say, but see, thinking about how we went and played with the 10 men, I think if we played all league games with that application and attitude, we'd be top of the league this season.
By a distance, mate. By a distance. I thought the attitude, particularly in the second half, was superb. But if you dig over the league campaign, mate, and I'm sure we'll dissect it once it's finished, but if you think about it, it's been bad. It's been a bad few minutes. Ross County last minute, Hearts last minute, Motherwell coasting. There's your 6 points. These were games we drew that we should have won.
Yeah. Other ones with some right lazy performances. You think, jinx, what's going on today? You all go to bed the wrong side.
I still don't think. I think Scott Wright's still a fringe player, mate. If I'm being honest, I just don't see it yet. I've been wrong before.
I'm not saying make him captain. No, I just think it's such a good game because his other performances weren't good. He tried hard, but nothing came off. Especially his final ball. But when you watched him against Motherwell, you're thinking, good grief, mate, if you'd have played like that every game, you'd been in the team all the time. Never mind just bits here and there.
Put there.
Totally agree, mate. I think what you've got to look at, right? I think because he plays on that right hand side and he's got Tav overlapping him, he's got to play more or less in one old inside. Is that inside right, Bridge? You'll know better than me. His older positions, right? But I think when he's in one and he's a bit closer to Sakala, I think that's Motherwell struggled tactically to work out what Rangers were doing because Sakala was floating it to the left and then Wright was coming straight into the centre, and I think that worked a treat. And I think that is the best we've seen Scott Wright playing a Rangers jersey since his Cape Club. I'm with Oxford. I think at best he's a squad player, but I said that about Ryan Jack with the Cape Club, and he proved me totally wrong. Andy, if you lead, you'll vouch for that. He proved me totally wrong, Ryan Jack. So I hope I'm wrong again.
He could have a part to play. He could have a part to play on Thursday, Porter.
Oh, big part, mate. I think as an impact player, pace, directness, no defender anywhere in Europe, mate, will enjoy a player like that running at you. He took his goal well. He probably scored one in the first half, and he put his laces through it as well. So he's a goal threat, mate. He's got pace.
He's right up in the inside right position, by the way. Right up in the inside right position.
All right, dear.
By the way, can I ask you guys a question?
Yes,
Blue Horizon. That voice is... Your voice is...
All right, Bridge.
Okay, leave it up.
Man, well, you're right anyway.
Right.
Right, I'll go, guys.
All right,
I'll
cheers,
take my
BS.
call. That was nice of you. Cheers.
BH.
Bye.
All right, BH.
Bye, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah. Good point. I mean, hopefully Scott Wright can kick on. Port, but only time will tell. But I wouldn't want to get carried away because I did think they were poor, but I also accept the attitude. He showed a good attitude, and people thought he showed a good attitude the week before. I never quite seen it, but maybe the emotion takes over.
Aye, but what he did show as well, mate, was attitude to, as in, the defensive side of the game. And I think that's one thing you'll need to do if you're a wide player, or one of the front three players at Rangers. You will have to track back under Gio. He will not accept you doing anything less. You're not going to get to sit, and hug a wing or out the touchline, or if you're going to come in one, you're not going to get to do nothing, mate. You're going to have to work your socks off. And I think that's what you're seeing. Where Ryan Kent's always done it. But like my bugbear about the Rangers team right now, still nobody in my opinion's got that right hand side tied down yet. So I think it's there to be grabbed, mate, and right needs to take his chance, because like I say, our forward line is ravaged by injury. So grab it with both hands.
Right, we'll be joined by Alex from Wishaw. Evening, Alex.
Good evening, Alex, sir. Bridgeman, Port and GB. How's everybody keeping fine?
Good, all right, mate. What's on your mind?
I just really caught getting back to the Motherwell game there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was an ideal preparation for Thursday. Albeit, would you call it Balogun getting sent off and into 10 men, I kind of felt the worst, but we certainly improved there. We're worthy winners. I was very pleased that Scott Wright finally came to the fore. And I thought Sakala played really well, and I'm looking forward to Thursday now.
Do you think the manager got it right with the personnel, chopping and changing and resting players? Do you think that was a good thing, or are you one of these guys that likes to play players all the time, Alex?
I thought maybe they went with the tested footballers he had at his disposal, but when he's changed the tactics and that, you can't really argue with that. It's turned out really well. I just thought Rangers were outstanding. The football they played. Don't get me wrong, Motherwell weren't too good opposition, but normally you get a lot harder game down there. But his tactic was spot on. And well done, as I say. We can look forward to Thursday now.
Yeah. How are you feeling about Thursday, Alex?
Well, we know it's going to be a really tough game here. But I'm quietly confident we can get a result and get back to Ibrox the following Thursday and finish the game off.
Right, okay. As long as we're still on the tie, is that what you think?
Yeah, definitely. As long as we're within, we can get a result back at Ibrox. I go a nice draw, even a 1-0 defeat. But I'm almost sure we get to Ibrox a week on Thursday with that crowd behind us. They'll certainly know they're in a game.
GB.
Aye, Alex. Thursday night for me. I think if we go out there and just do what we've been doing in Europe, just going out there looking for, letting them play their game first, but at least challenging, and then see if we can bring it back to Ibrox. It's going to be a tough ask. I think if it was Gerrard, I'd be worried about it, but I think with Gio, with his tactics, I think it's tactics that's going to win us the game, because we're so decimated with players being out in injury and stuff like that. I think it's going to be down to a tactical switch, a tactical setup that's going to probably get us out of the line, especially with the amount of injuries we've got.
Aye, it's maybe not came at a good time. Well, I know you're a certain vintage, mate, 72. We're talisman, we're leader, the greatest ever Ranger, the semi-final.
John Gregg missed the game, yeah. I believe, and sometimes it's taken out of your hands right? We know about Alfredo Morelos. But just imagine turning the coin round about and Morelos was still fit and he never played Morelos. And he tactics up his sleeve here. That's how we've got to approach this. We've got to approach to fill the midfield in and have somebody with a bit of pace up front. And that's Sakala. And just see how this pans out.
Where would you place Sakala?
I'd put him through the middle. I know folks like he's better coming in the wing. I'd put him through the middle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just put him right up top, yeah?
Right up top, hopefully we can get the balls over the top for his pace. And I think he can hurt them on the counter-attack.
Juicy?
Well, I think that's good. There's one thing that I wanted to mention about Sakala. I don't want to put a damp squib on things, but it's a question really, because I don't know the answer, guys. Is Sakala available to play away in Germany? Because if you guys recall, he and Ruth were not available for selection in Dortmund due to COVID not being vaccinated.
Ooh. I will get the research department on that as soon as you've finished, Juicy.
The club don't talk about the COVID situation, so it's never something that they're able to talk about in the presses. But as you all recall, Sakala and Ruth did not travel to Dortmund for that reason. So I'm not sure if Sakala is able to play in Germany. And ironically, Ruth wouldn't have been either, regardless of the injury. So we may have to be very imaginative. But if we don't go Sakala, then Kent in some kind of central role would be great. I think we'll probably go with Aribo as the false nine holding player, because we all know he holds the ball up pretty well and could maybe replicate an Alfredo type role maybe. But I'm all for, maximising that midfield or playing the back five, which, as you recall, worked pretty well when we switched to it against Dortmund as well.
What we need is somebody who works for a German company. A bit help us out with this. Anyway, we've also been joined by Andy Felix. Evening, Andy.
Good evening, guys. A great show. Good discussions on it. Juicy on that one there. I'm back and forth with somebody in the feed asking if he could play, because I said that he played in the last round when he was away. But the guy come back and says Germany have a different rule, and you don't think he'll be allowed in. I don't know. True, that is right enough. I just took it on the premises that he played in that round, so he should be able to play. But Germany differ.
Things have changed a bit in Germany. Yeah, all travellers entering Germany have spent time in the previous 10 days in the country designated time entry is high risk. The UK is no high risk of the virus variant area required to complete pre-departure digital registration. Regardless of vaccination status, all travellers aged 12 and over entering Germany from anywhere abroad must carry with them a negative test result or proof of vaccination or recovery. Proof of recovery requires at least 28 days and no more than 90 days to have elapsed since the date of the positive COVID-19 test. So the rules have changed slightly in Germany since the Dortmund tie 2 months ago.
This is good news then, guys.
Potentially. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I think we would have heard before now, to be honest, if there was any problem.
You didn't hear it last time to the travel bridge because it's
that's true. They didn't know then. I dare say, surely they would look at that now and make sure that everybody's okay for travelling.
Yeah, wouldn't it be them? It would be that they couldn't. Yeah, wouldn't it be them? It was the person maybe chose to know of the vaccine at the time, yeah?
Oh, I see. If they don't have a vaccine now, the
club aren't going to discuss that because that's their personal data, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Hopefully we're all right. Now, Alex, you'd definitely go with Sakala. Who would you play in the right side of the three then?
Aribo.
Okay.
I'd play Aribo. I think we need him for his quality to hold the ball up and play his football. And we're just going to rely on a couple of chances here. That's all we're going to get. Maybe 3-4 chances. And I think that's the way forward here. I'd pack the midfield and hope the defence hold out, because this team will come out to us, make no mistake about it. But I'm almost sure we'll get the result. Because we've played all over Europe, and the experience we've got is unbelievable. And I don't think the boys will let us down Thursday night. I'm really looking forward to it.
I must admit, I'm usually quite calm when it's Monday. And I've gone. Port Vale, I've gone already.
It's incredible, mate. It's, again, I think somebody touched on it earlier in the show, probably biggest week of our season, mate, in a long, long time. RB Leipzig are absolutely no mugs, mate. We know that.
Mate, it's 14 years since we played in a European semi-final, mate. And before that, if you've been honest about it, before that, we take away the Marseille season, it was 1972, 50 years ago, mate. Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible.
These games are two of the biggest games we've ever seen as Rangers supporters, ever.
Yep. Totally agree, mate. Totally agree. And like I say there, we're playing against one of the giants of German football who spend, big money. They've got some of Europe's finest players, let me tell you, by the way. They're a great side to watch. And I just think, a tough ask. My front.
Giants of football, what's your thoughts, Andy?
Well, giants of football, maybe, but we played against the Giants 50 years ago, didn't we? And we all know what happened there. I agree with Alec. I think we have to pack our midfield strong, and I think the main part of our game on Thursday night will be the midfield. If they stand strong, take the pressure off the defence, and we can release a couple of their guys running on, you never know. We get that goal, come back with a draw, But no, I'm like you. I'm a bit strung out already. It's too early, I know.
You might be booked into the bed next to me, mate.
Oh, dearie me. Well, I'm staying off the vodka, right? I thought I'm going to stay off it, right, and just build my sin in from about. Might start tomorrow. But no, I think
a drink.
Oh no, you feel worse, man. I tell you, I've got like we get butterflies in your stomach and all that. Just before a big game and all that. Mm-hmm. That's just a bit early to be getting them. I know right enough, but like you just said there, it is really massive. I also think the one on Sunday is massive. I know that I don't subscribe to Blue Star at all right enough. I never ever want to go into them games under tilt or under strength. Like, it means too much to me the way I was brought up, right enough, as it does to thousands and thousands of other Rangers fans. But I get what he's saying. In fact, these two games are massive.
There's common sense in these arguments, isn't there?
Yeah, there's definitely that. I mean, look, if we don't get a result on Sunday, but we've knocked them out and we're in the final, you'd have to be bloody stupid, wouldn't you, to say that it wasn't the right thing to do. I don't think they will do that. It's about getting this. We play well, and we had that midfield solid. You never know, because we can release, we can score goals away from Europe. Mm-hmm. That's been proven, and sometimes when you've not got your best players, or what we perceive to be our best players, sometimes other guys come in and turn up, don't they? And that could happen as well.
What about this for a team? We've talked about keeping the midfield. Here's something. You're right, okay. I'm not saying I would do this, but I'm just going to give you a team. We've been joined by Peter. I'll go to Peter first, and he can ask his question. But why give you this, right? McGregor, Tavernier, Golson, Bassey, Barisic. In front of him, Davis with Arfield, Jack, Lundstrom and Kamara. We Kent or Aribo or another up front, 4-1-4-1 for the first hour of the game, and then see where it takes us. Is that too negative, or is it too mad? Anyway, hold that thought. We'll bring in Peter. Evening, Peter.
All right, how you all doing?
Aye, mate. What's on your mind?
Just obviously touching on means I talking about a massive game on Thursday. My thoughts were, I wonder if G would maybe do what he did on Saturday, because it looked as if we're going to line up 4-5-1. It was making me think maybe that's what he's looking for Thursday. Maybe giving a wee bit away, but 4-5-1 hit them on the counter. Leipzig have come out and said
Sunday and Saturday, you thought it was a 4-5-1?
Well, that's where Sky's like they're trying to put it across with me, the tactics if it's 4-5-1, but nah, it wasn't. It looked like a 4-3-3 with Ahmad, Sakala, and Wright.
No,
do you think it maybe?
I seen it as a 4-2-3, a 4-2-3-1. I don't know what you thought, Port.
That's exactly how I saw it, mate. That's exactly how I had the team lined up on the weekend. In regards to your team selection for Thursday, I'm going to be honest, but I think it's a wee bit negative. I don't think they need that much respect. What my team would have been, mate, it's the exact same backline, but I would keep it, Lundstrom, Jack. I'd have Aribo as a false number 9, mate, and then I would have Kent and Sakala on each wing. So basically, that's where your pace comes from. That's exactly how I would line up, mate. I don't think they're a great side, but we beat a better side, in my opinion. RB Leipzig are 4th in the league. We beat Dortmund, mate. Was a better side. We were 2nd, and also RB lost 2-1 to Union Berlin at the weekend, so they're not in great form next year. And they've also missing their first team right back and centre back who are out with suspension on Thursday night.
And the centre mid.
Aye, Campbell's out. Yep, he's out as well. Yep.
Trust you to notice that Camp player was missing. Alex, was I been too negative? Was I been too mad there, Alex?
I think it's what you call it. It's something you look at to go for the first hour. But I believe I've got a chance here. I think there'll be chances created for Rangers. They're quite minimum right enough, but I think they've got to utilise Sakala's speed. I think the ball over the top there, and it could maybe cause a bit of danger. But I wouldn't be surprised, Doc, sir, but I honestly believe we've got to pack the midfield here. They're going to have to do some shift here, really, and try and contain this team and try and work away for a couple of chances in that. And I believe I've got the players to do it. As I say, the experience is all there. The teams we've played in Europe now, you can go way back. And I'm sure Giovanni Van Bronckhorst will get the tactics right here. And I'm just looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
Here. Bridgman, in you come. Was I been mad?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. Just a wee bit. Like, the thing is that I agree with what Alex Berwisha said. I think you're going to have to pack the midfield, no matter what it is. So I could see us actually going in as a 4-4-2 or a 4-4-1-1. That's what I could see us doing. But that, again, could be, let's see how the game goes and so on and so forth, and let Gio wave his magic wand and change things and so on and so forth. But I definitely think the game's going to be won in the midfield, and we have to be ready for it. Because we've been caught out with good midfield players before. We've got good midfield players. We've got some smashing, particularly on the defensive side of it. And we've been stronger there in the attack at the moment. But we have to go for, I would think 4-4-2. That's what I think.
I just want to change the subject quickly for the last quarter hour because we're going to have to talk about this all week. And I'm worried about Andy Felix. Right, okay.
What are you worried about, Musa?
Because it's too early.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, dear.
How's Benny?
Oh, I've not heard from him today, actually. I said good morning to him, but apart from that, I spoke to him on Friday, Saturday morning till about 4 in the morning, right enough, but I've not heard from him.
Somebody met him in Glasgow City Centre on Saturday and said Miss Diane told him to come to town. So there he was.
Aye, Miss Diane. That's the only one that liked him, wasn't it? They were showing my age. I'm a bit behave.
There he was, walking down the carriage street. Anyway, I just want to get through the awards last night, which could change dramatically. But where am I? Started with Charlie McCann getting him Academy Player of the Year pot. People liking Charlie, and the boy Cole McKinnon got the B Team Player of the Year. Well done to the boys there. Shows you how consistent they've been. Oh, Port with us. Port.
Aye, mate, sorry. Yep. I've told you before, I'm very excited with Charlie McCann. I'm more excited about him than I am with Alex Lowry, if I'm totally honest. I think he's a cracking young player, and fair play to the young men for getting their first Rangers awards. Mate, I hope that's many a few, mate. I think they've got a good few what awards ahead for them.
And the John Gregg Achievement Award was won by Ryan Jack. Looking very dapper. Yeah, very dapper, Andy, yeah?
Yeah, I was quite pleased for the boy, right enough. I think everyone that got the awards, looking back over the season, I think all deserved them, to be honest with you. Like I said, I don't know much about the ladies' team. I watched the game yesterday, right enough. But what I found about the ladies' stuff was it's slow, but they've got good technique, So it's slow, but it was good. It's good to see all the young bears there, like Gary said. That was spot on. That, and that's what we're saying all the time. That's the ones that's coming up behind us, whether it be ladies or the boys. Yeah. So that's great. Yeah.
Young Player of the Year, GB, was won by Calvin Bassey. I don't think anybody can argue with that.
No, I was actually Ox. I was probably touting him for Player of the Year, but obviously they've given it to Alfredo. He's been.
You've just the whole script, GB. Thanks for that, mate. Yeah. One question. Calvin Bassey, Young Player of the Year, and then rip the whole script up. Right, we'll move on. Right, Bruin.
Boo.
Stick to the question.
Right, Bassey's amazing. Well done, Bassey.
Right, okay. Goal of the season for the B team, I don't know if you remember this one, was scored by Alec Lowry against them in a 3-0 victory. Good goal, good player.
Yeah.
Boys get a future in the game. Yeah. I think that was a great award for him to get. It keeps him ticking over the club. Jane Ross got the women's goal of the season. A goal of no saw. The HUD saw, actually. Yeah, I did see it against them as well. This one I don't agree with, right? John Lundstrom got goal of the season. Alex Wishaw. But I'll be honest with you, I'd have thought that Starfelt should have been up there getting that after last week.
100% right. When that ball went in, you're right. I gave it to him at all. The Jane Ross, you're talking about there, I've seen the goal there. I mean, she loved the goalkeeper, and that was first class. And I've got to say, I've been watching the ladies' football, and JB, well done for going. Absolutely fantastic watching them. Nicola Docherty and that, fantastic. And you've got to say, thanks. The Rangers board was there as well. Ross Wilson was up there with Stuart Robinson and James Bisgrove and that. So, and well done the Union Bears. Absolutely fantastic. Good day for the girls.
Yep. Jane Ross was where am I now? Women's Player of the Year, and Jane Ross was able to collect. Where am I? Tav got the Player of the Year, Mr. Consistency, and particularly in the second half of the season, Bridgeman.
When you say Mr. Consistency, who was that?
Tav.
Aye. No, you couldn't leave him out, could you? He's like, what stallion there, a player there. It's absolutely brilliant, man. He goes up and did that wing, and he's starting to shout and ball a lot more now than he was. Super. And that penalty he took the weekend there, they could take a penalty better than that. That was just superb. The guy is just, I didn't think that much of him. 2 seasons ago, I thought he was having a really bad season. Was it 2 seasons or maybe last season even? But I thought he was in quite a bad season.
2 years ago when he had his appendix problems, mate.
Yeah, he's had a few problems, but it took him a while to get back into it. But he's back in it. My goodness gracious! And if any team leaves room down our right, then Tavernier will go in there and he'll steal right up there. Do the business. He's out of it. Yes.
And the Women's Player of the Year was Nicola Docherty, and surprise, surprise, the Player of the Year was GB.
Alfredo Morelos.
So Peter,
I just wanted more airtime.
Peter, all our big hitters won the prizes, really. You know.
Yeah.
But any of them surprise you?
No, I think we'd all agree that they're the ones that should have got it. Do you think? I know it was the biggest stage against Dortmund. Did you not actually think his goal against Hearts was better?
Maybe the move.
Aye.
Pulled in with a goal. Yeah, I'm still going for Starfelt. I don't care what you say.
Oh, aye. That's definitely the biggest game.
Yeah.
What about what Lonnie said last night after the award? When Emma Dodd says to me, enjoying your football, and he says, it's great, especially after we beat them last weekend. That just shows he knows a club straight away, and that's what you want.
He's building into somebody, a fan's favourite. Listen, I think it's early, mate, if I'm being honest. The amount of football we've got to play, Andy, people could come and be real. They could grab the headlines, couldn't they?
Oh, this is it. And quite a few of them, you know, have all had stick off for us at various times, you know, but sometimes it's, you know, you stumble on these things and they get it, and once they get it, you know, they feel like us, and that's a big part of the battle, isn't it? They have to get it, understand what it is to play for Rangers, that no game we play, whoever we play, is a friendly. You have to win all the time, or try and win every time, or at least go out being 110%. Here is that. We'll back them no matter what the score is. But yeah, there could be, you know, we win these 2 cups. There's going to be heroes come out of that you least expected. You know, say around about in a year time and all that, when we were, you know, giving them stick for dropping points. My point on that was, when you asked the question earlier on, with that, I think what happened there with certain players didn't have the bottle at the right time to play for us. Some of them are realising. I think Tavernier has really grown into a captain. I wish he'd have done it 2 or 3 years ago, but see, he's vocal. You know, he knows the importance of what we've got to do. Not that he probably didn't know, but maybe he just couldn't handle it right. Something just seems to have dropped to him.
Maybe he feels more comfortable with the new manager than he did with the old manager.
Yeah, there's a good point. You know, because I mean, a lot of them, well, quite a few's going to be away, but the ones that are going to stay away are going to get him. Once he gets his points across, hopefully it works out for us, and you know, we're going and make bigger risks to come next season going forward.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Well, we're getting close to this time of the evening, but listen, we're going to be talking, I would imagine the next 2 nights will be nothing bar Leipzig, unless GB's get anything else he wants to throw in.
Don't send him a script.
No, don't do it.
I'm just hear me and ripping up.
That's been barred for 2 weeks now.
They're writing that. Anyway, it's got to be nothing else, and feel free to phone in and give your points, lads. But always good to hear from everybody. Andy, always a pleasure, mate.
Same as.
You know, always a pleasure. Peter, late in the night, but just a few callers in. But great to hear from you, mate, and we'll be building up to Thursday, yeah?
Yeah, thanks for taking the call again. It's good to speak to you all.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah. Alec, it's going to potentially a special 11 days, mate, huh?
Oh, I'm excited at the new Oxford. Really looking forward to it.
I'll give Mrs. Alec for much of a shout, mate. Yep, don't worry about it.
Oxford, is it possible? Can I say a wee shout out, if it's possible, please?
Of course, mate. You feel free, mate.
Right. Last Friday, we lost a right die-hard Rangers supporter in the name of Barry Angus, better known as Gus. We'd like to send our condolences and sympathies for Wishes Cross Rangers Supporters Club, Tam Parks Imperial Bar, and also a special thanks to the Rangers supporter at the game on Saturday. Get involved in the 40th minute for the minute's applause. Thank you very much. I know what you call it, his mother listens to the show, and we're very, very sorry, and deepest condolences. Right, thank you.
I don't think
Well said, Alex. We wish
I
you
don't
well
think I
said.
can add to that, but to say that all our thoughts and all our best wishes go to the Rangers Radio to everybody connected to us. Yeah.
Here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Listen, cheers, Alex, and look, well, I'm sure we'll speak to you before Thursday. Are you going over, Alex?
No, we changed it. We were supposed to go in the day, but we've changed it. None of the threes is getting over, so we're hoping we can get to the final now. I'll be back on anyway during the week.
I'm sure you will be, mate. Right, okay, thanks. Always a pleasure, mate. GB, the ladies' correspondent. One for the ladies.
Aye, Ox, mate. Thanks for letting us come on and obviously share the bit of history at the weekend there, mate. Another monumental thing for Rangers, and onward to Thursday, buddy.
Yeah. Juicy, quietly sitting there, quietly becoming a big part of Rangers Radio, mate.
Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you for having me on as always. As everyone said, just really excited about the build-up now for Thursday. I've got some nice selection of beers and wines to have that evening. Nice selection of crisps and canapes. Going to be chowing down on that in anticipation of a quality night of football. And they damn well better get through, guys, because I've already got accommodation and flights and that all sorted out for Seville. And I do not want to be watching two German teams in the final. So come on, Rangers.
Port Bear.
Well said, Juicy. Ox, cheers for having us on, mate. Exciting week build up. I'll be listening to the show intently. I will be, mate. Get the buzz. I'm buzzing already as it is, but you guys will get me going even more. I just think it'll be a monument this week for the club, mate, and good luck to everybody.
Bridgeman, over to you.
Well, what can I say about it? A huge thank you to Port Bear for being my buddy tonight, and thank you to yourself, Ox. A marvellous show, wonderful show to build on your techie guys in the background. Can I just say, this is going to be the biggest game of our season and possibly any season in the last 20 years. There you go. That's how big this is, this game coming up. Hopefully it all works out for it. But now the build-up's going to kick in, and away we go. And can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here, on Rangers Radio, every single one of us, our team needs us. Everybody keep it going for the Rangers and get your hands in your pocket and buy your tickets.
Yeah. We'll be joined tomorrow night with Mr. Southside and Billy, but I'm going to put Mr. Southside on the spot. I will be asking him tomorrow for his top 10 Rangers games and importance, including this Thursday's tie. There you go. We're going to put him on the spot, Port Bear.
Poor Southside.
Well, give him something to do. Right, can I thank everybody that called in? Blue Star, Blue Horizon, Andy for Leeds, Peter for Fife, Alex for Wishaw, of course, Juicy, GB, Bridgeman and Port for doing the show, Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals, everybody for listening. Once again, a shout out for Gus and all his family and friends. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers, where we'll challenge Southside. Take it away, Old School Blue.
Before
this day that I must find. I fought those evil men, and I do it all again. They say this day that I must find. So build my gallows, build them high, that I might see before I die the anthem land and the hills of County Down, and I'll see again the lights of home. I am a loyal Ulsterman. They say this day that I must die. Well, I fought